This is Backstage Sonoma, your all-access pass to the local music scene.
Coming to you from beautiful downtown Santa Rosa, this is the Backstage Sonoma podcast. And now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Backstage Sonoma. I'm your host, Steve Roby. Today, Keith Frazier, a founding member of the legendary Rebirth Brass Band, will join me for an interview. Rebirth has been a New Orleans institution for over 4 decades, blending traditional brass sounds with modern influences like funk, soul, and hip-hop. After over 10 years and 2 Grammys, they plan to release some brand new music. We'll dive into what's driving their creativity and how they're bringing a new generation into the fold. But first, before the interview, let's listen to Feel Like Funkin' It Up. Here's Rebirth Brass Band on Backstage Sonoma. That was Feel Like Funkin' It Up by the Rebirth Brass Band. And I'm thrilled to welcome Keith Frazier, its founding member, to Backstage Sonoma. Hey, Keith, thanks so much for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Keith, let's start talking about the roots of the Rebirth Brass Band. You've been carrying the torch for New Orleans brass bands for decades, but you've also evolved the sound by incorporating funk, soul, and hip-hop elements. How do you find that balance between tradition and innovation?
Well, it's hard to maintain a tradition of brass bands when you're especially dealing with younger people who are coming out to listen to you. But in order to get them involved, you have to kind of like play music that they could identify with. If they're into rap, reggae, hip-hop, soul, funk, you incorporate that into your music. But at the same time, you try to let them know that the roots of what we do has been going on for 300 years. So you play some traditional songs and you just play it in more a modern way. And they seem to take well to that.
Rebirth has always been known for its tight arrangements and high-energy performances. But I'm curious, what's the songwriting process like for you now? Has it changed with the newer members contributing their ideas?
Actually, the songwriting process just stayed pretty much the same. We allow everyone in the band to chime in and add their 2 cents on every song. If a guy brings a song to the band, we think we could add something to it. We just make suggestions. And, for the most part, everyone is pretty open to someone making a suggestion on trying to improve their song.
The next song we're going to play is called New Orleans Girl. Can you tell us about the inspiration behind this song? Is there a particular New Orleans girl?
Actually, there was a song written by P.J. Morton. And he wanted some horns on the song. And he said, hey, man, Rebirth guys, would y'all like to be on the song that I wrote? We're like, hey, why not? And so we went in the studio, and I guess it was some girl he was referring to at the time in New Orleans, and it turned out pretty well.
Yeah. Well, let's hear it now. This is Rebirth Brass Band with New Orleans Girl, and you're listening to Backstage Sonoma.
I done been all over the world. What's crazy, no matter where I go, there ain't nothing like a New Orleans girl. Let's go. Let's start from the beginning. Her name was Deborah Brown. She caught my daddy's eye and he's still around, which helps me prove my point. It must be something in the water, 'cause 40 years later, and he's still glad he caught her. Ooh, I've been all over the world. It still ain't nothing like a New Orleans girl. Ooh, I've been all over the world. It still ain't nothing like a New Orleans. See, I'm a grown man now, and I can see it for myself. These girls from New Orleans know that there's something else. When they call you baby, they melt you like some sugar. And don't let her cook your meal, 'cause that's gonna show no seal the deal. Ooh, I've been all over the world. It still ain't nothing like a New Orleans girl. Ooh, I've been all over the world. It still ain't nothing like a New Orleans girl.
Set the bottom out, respected 'cause I'm the queen. Born in New Orleans, mother of the twerk team. Meal cooker spicy like red beans. Gumbo moose, they can't help it, it's in my team. Cheeky ways, but I'm mistaken for being mean. When you really get to know me, I'm sweeter than fly ring. One Barbie, I'm the hottest on the scene. Night wall, represent a bust of bud. I'm here first, behind mine. That's never got from the one we let the sign. There's more to us than shaking our behind. Even though we like to twerk, we have intellectual mind. Wow, girl, cheeky, I'm my angel in disguise. Ain't one to make you laugh, be the one to make you cry. 504, we one of a kind. Certified boss chick, and I put it in my ass.
Better watch out. 'Cause Katrina put them all over the world. You better watch out if you see a New Orleans girl. Yeah, I said you better watch out. Katrina put them all over the world. You better watch out if you see a New Orleans girl. Ooh, I've been all over the world. It still ain't nothing like a New Orleans girl. Ooh, I've been all over the world. It still ain't nothing like a New Orleans girl.
Ooh,
Still ain't nothing like a New Orleans girl.
That was New Orleans Girl by Rebirth Brass Band, and you're tuned in to Backstage Sonoma with me, Steve Roby. We're here with founding member Keith Frazier discussing their incredible career and latest music. Keith, speaking of your career, you've had some major highlights over the years, whether playing with huge names like The Roots or winning Grammys. Can you share a couple of standout moments that have shaped the band?
One of the moments that I can recall very vividly is playing with Ida DeFranco in Red Rocks, Colorado. She's a huge star among females all across the country. And she was telling us that some of the ladies doing the show, they may want to jump on stage. It was like, I don't think they, if they want to jump on stage with us, but actually they tried to jump on stage. We were surprised that something like that would happen. Because normally that wouldn't happen at one of our shows where females are trying to jump on stage, but it happened and she tried to warn us about it. And we were like, wow, they're really excited about this particular artist.
That's great. People from all over the world come to New Orleans just to see you. How do you maintain such a strong connection with your fans, and what do they mean to you as musicians?
In order for us to maintain that strong connection, we always give the people what they want. When people ask for a song, we play it. It may not even be we don't do a song list, so sometimes we just play it based on the vibe of the audience, and we can tell what songs people want. We ask them, like, hey, what you guys like to hear? We play that song. So they feel like they're part of the show. We're not just going to do a standard set list. So that's one of the big things that we do. Like, we're going to play what the people actually want to hear.
So let's play another track by Rebirth Brass Band. This is called Do What You Want To. What's the story behind this one, Keith?
But that particular song came about because there was a guy in our neighborhood. He would always walk around saying, do what you want to. Kermit Ruffins, my brother Philip Frazier, and a couple other guys in the band said, hey, man, we could do something with what he's saying. So they took that particular saying and came up with a song. And it's probably our biggest song to this date. And it's always played during Mardi Gras. It's kind of like what New Orleans is all about, kind of do what you want, that lazy lady, bon-ton relate, kind of spirit. And people say, do what you want every time you come there. You kind of do what you want to do.
Well, let's check it out. This is Do What You Want To by Rebirth Brass Band. And you're listening to Backstage Sonoma.
jammingtheband.com, New Orleans, Rebirth Brass Band, y'all. Yeah, that's right. All I really wanna do is see you move your body. Shake something, you All I really wanna do is see you move your body. We say move your body. Move your body. We say move your body.
That last track was Do What You Wanta by Rebirth Brass Band, and I'm Steve Roby. We're deep into our conversation with Keith Frazier, a founding member of Rebirth Brass Band. And now I want to talk about your upcoming tour, Keith.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to hit the road again. What excites you most about this tour, and how will it differ from previous ones?
Because we sort of play new places, and as you develop new audiences, you're always curious how they're going to react to what you're playing. Some people come to the show, they don't know what, they know we're a horn band, but they don't know, am I supposed to dance or am I supposed to listen? And for the most part, at the end of the night, people are up dancing. And so we're always excited about, encouraging people to hey, this is all about dancing. The listening part is fine, but we want you to have a good time. We want you to be, like I said, we want you to be a part of the show. And when they dance and have a good time, that just allows us to put more energy into the music.
Right. How can you sit still through one of your shows? Yeah.
Exactly.
So live performances are a huge part of your legacies, and your shows are always energetic. And of course, you've got a big show coming up here in the Bay Area. Can you give us a little preview of what you've got in store for your fans in Mill Valley?
The fans in Mill Valley, we've played there quite a few times. We may start off with a parade, may end with a parade. We don't really know. So we're going to kind of just do what we want to do. And hopefully the people in Mill Valley will be happy.
I'm sure they will. Well, let me remind our listeners here in the Bay Area, the Rebirth Brass Band will perform 2 shows at the Sweetwater Music Hall in Mill Valley. There's one at 3 p.m. in the afternoon and one at 8 p.m. Tickets are available now at sweetwatermusichall.com. Hey, Keith, thanks for joining us today and sharing your stories.
All right, thanks for having me. I look forward to seeing you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Backstage Sonoma podcast. Join us next time for more great interviews and music from local and touring musicians. You can find us on the web at backstagesonoma.com.